So this is the sound for propagation. Propping up value using tools to be able to prop up the value of assets in trying to go forward. We're trying to develop eggs. So we're trying to develop eggs and develop an acquisition of an initial egg, more or less, I guess you could say, so that on the birth of that egg, then in essence it is something called a prop farm. Firm is what I meant to say. A prop farm firm. A prop firm farm. A prop firm farm. A prop firm farm. A prop firm farm. A prop firm is someone that gives away money for people to trade with. Oh, that is what we're talking about, I guess. Trying to do is have the initial egg to be able to give birth to a prop firm farm. More or less, something along those lines. So it's like a prop firm egg. A prop farm egg. So it's like trying to give birth to a chicken that can lay enough chickens to then be able to continue to lay eggs so that those chickens are able to pay for the farm eventually with individual egg sales over the course of chicken growth that are laying eggs in addition to that. And those eggs are symbols for business energy and the development of deal structure and production deal structure, in essence, energy within, for example, something of a prop firm, for example, or also through production deals or deals with other people that are also sort of known as plates. I've called them plates in the past. Plates, keeping plates spinning, in essence, and other people are the reason for collaborations because they can help to keep the plates spinning. And more so, they are related to prop firms, for example. Prop firms are people that give money to traders in the foreign exchange markets, in essence. But in terms of plates, in terms of partnerships, in terms of voluntourism, in terms of connecting with opportunity around the world, in terms of connecting with local cities and local governments and local banks and such things like that other people connections, connecting with other people in local cities that have connections to their own local banks, that is a representation or a symbol also of a prop farm, in essence. Like a prop firm is the one who gives money, in essence, to people to be able to trade at a higher value in the forex markets or other markets, or trade it for trading. And then, in essence, a prop farm is indicative of and a representation of something with a similar process and a similar interest in a similar fashion, so that we have the hope of the mindset of scaling prop farms, more or less. Scaling prop farms, so that we have prop farm eggs, basically, that are eggs that we're trying to give birth to. Is we're trying to give birth to an initial egg, an acquisition of an initial egg, so that egg can hatch a prop farm by giving birth to a chicken, and then the chicken lays more eggs, and then all of those eggs give birth to chickens, and then all of those chickens lay eggs as well, so that has a sort of a step-up effect or a process of trying to develop also chickens on the backside of all of those eggs being birthed, but then also farms being birthed, and the potential for farms on the birth of all of those eggs that are birthed by all of those chickens being birthed, so that exponential, hopeful type of growth, type of visual energy, I suppose you could say, expansion, I guess you could say, has the potential to grow for our company, for Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios, to try to expand at that rate, to be able to try to build the global philanthropy energy grid, sort of piece by piece, by connecting with people by people and partnership by partnership, and kind of merging that also with sort of the content development that we're starting to try to do also, where we're trying to develop business music type of content, more or less, with little interviews that are they're very strange, by trying to connect with just different music that different people can make. Because just like I do weird sounds in the beginning of each little podcast episode these days, it's just kind of like that, more or less, where you have sounds, and then those sounds can become other sounds because they can be tweaked from analog into digital, and that's sort of the interest. It's called a soul sample. At the same time, it's something I didn't know that was the name, more or less, within the last couple of weeks, but that's, I guess, what it is. But at the same time, those soul samples can be tweaked into sound like they're not even soul samples also. They can be sounds that are the beginning of a foundation of other types of sounds that can resonate with other kinds of sounds and just be a birth of some kind of a sound that can resonate with other energy to make something completely different. Like that, that Justin Bieber song, Where Are You Now? That's one of those sound sample songs that sounds completely different from his voice, ultimately from the singer's voice, who did the samples for the sounds in the background as well. And that is part of how, like, we want to try to make sound as well by getting like a little bit of back end sound on the back, like so that there's vocals, like maybe from people jumping on to these random interviews, as well as background sounds from the samples of their voices. Maybe we'll see how it goes. I don't even know just yet. But the bottom purpose is to try to get into the focus of trying to develop the company from a monetary structure, from a financial structure point of view, so to speak. And trying to focus on like prop farm eggs is a focus that is trying to be focused on, because that in essence hopes that in essence like a prop farm has the conceptual ability to lay prop farm eggs, and that every egg that is laid has the ability to lay a chicken, which has the ability to give birth to more eggs, which are all farms in terms of conceptual energy, contemplation, conceptual energy. And let's say a farm, sells for $50 million or something like that. That's the conceptualization in terms of numbers. In an ideal sense, this is in an idealistic, astrological, astronomical, whatever you want to call it, sense. Astronomy, astrology, it's all relatable, I guess. Maybe, maybe not. But regardless, we just want to conceptualize it being similar within this episode, for the purpose of the universe being endless and us just trying to connect with that, to be able to try to focus on giving some random birth to some random energies in terms of finance, actual finance, and influencing the world of finance, so that we're able to consistently give value into the world and consistently give birth to value in the world by developing production deals in essence, in a similar fashion to like the entertainment industry, developing production deals and developing a budget for all the things and the items and the itemization for the items that they need to be able to get money, to be able to develop, getting to the other side of that energy necessity, and developing that energy necessity to get to the other side of the production deal. For example, to develop that media content. In the past, I would say in the past entertainment world, because there were a lot of budgets, and that industry was a little bit more significant in the past, I suppose you could say. And as time has gone on and technology has evolved a bit, the scale up and scale down emphasis in terms of dollars and placement of dollars and monetary energy over time has shifted a bit, and that's hopefully for the better, because it's transitioning, hopefully more so, into this new realm which we're trying to focus in investing in, which is the edutainment realm, and also the accountability coaching realm, where everybody has the ability to become like accountability coaches for different actors and different players, for example, which is similar to like managers and agents in the entertainment world, more or less. And we're talking about productions like also in the entertainment industry, like, so that also ultimately it's a similar ecosystem structure, more or less, but we're talking about accountability coaching instead of agents and managers, more or less. And those accountability coaches are trying to help hold productions accountable, because a lot of the energy is within people that they don't know that it exists necessarily. So once we can continue to try to unearth the fact and the idea that this potential exists within people, that these accountability coaches are just normal people that help hold other people accountable, similar to like normal people being football coaches in small towns. Basically, they hold their team accountable to practice and things of this nature, but it's for business purpose. It's for global philanthropy energy purpose in this instance. And this is the new edutainment market, as opposed to the entertainment market of yesterday, which wasted, in my opinion, a lot of people's time on stories that are basically fake stories, more or less, as opposed to real stories which have real superheroes in real life. And that's why they've always said truth is stranger than fiction. That is a long known saying in the world and such things, because of the fact that it's true, and for that reason it's more interesting and entertaining after all, right? In theory, I guess. Nonetheless, moving on, we're trying to focus on developing and blossoming this production structure into these egg farms, where this conceptual paradigms where these egg farms have the ability to birth eggs and egg farms within every egg that hatches in a conceptual, astrological, universal, I guess, type of symbolic sense, so that ultimately we have this scaling mindset that is coupled with this podcast, as well as the continuous conceptual future conceptualization of consistent financial forward monetary processes, in terms of the focus of how to continue to try to develop scale up energy and or scale up development and redevelopment and like rebirth and rebirth. And then overlapping of energies and overlapping of energies on top of energies to be able to just try to continue to make births happen from other births and things in that fashion, where the chicken has the potential to birth a farm, because one egg can give birth to another chicken, and that egg can give birth to more chickens, and that chicken can lay more eggs, and every egg can conceivably, maybe conceptually, represent a farm in of itself. If that chicken conceptually has the ability to scale up every one of each egg to a farm in theory and concept, because if one egg equals one chicken, and that one chicken can give multiple eggs, and every egg can equal a farm, because every other egg can equal other chickens that have more eggs, and each of those chickens can equal a farm. If each of those chickens can continue to lay more chickens, and some of those chickens' eggs can be sold, and enough of those eggs can be sold to be able to eventually pay for a farm, it's just about the potential future forward conceptualization that potential can conceivably exist, by acknowledging that potential is conceivably potential realized, by just acknowledging down the line, by looking down the timeline more or less, that in time, over time, that through growth and potential to let that potential sit and exist and rest, just like when things go into motion, that they have the ability to just continue to go into motion unless they're stopped for whatever reason, like Newton's law, Newton's theory, type of a thing in terms of business energy, more or less the same theory but applied to business energy. And the chicken symbol in this instance, or the egg symbol, which one came first? In this instance, it's the egg, because we have to buy an egg. Because to start our energy, we're trying to buy the right egg. So we have the right prop energy. We're trying to buy the right prop farm energy. So it's prop farm eggs that we're after, I suppose you could say, because we're trying to prop the value of the eggs as well by using other additional external resources, similar to a movie being financed by the bank so that they can make a nice, pretty, pleasant looking movie, so that on the back end of whatever money that they made, on the back end of the future of that money being able to make that movie being able to make money, they were able to pay back the banks. And so there's a future value and an exchange with the banks in terms of future value trade-off with distribution and all those things in correspondence to how the business energy and the demand energy and more or less the commerce energy flows to be able to try to repurpose and rebalance the propping up of the value of the production in the first place, so that this symbology has the ability to symbolically circulate the globe, and to be able to conceptually prop up the ability for all people to be able to want to prop up their own ears into the interest of entrepreneurship, so that all people can have accountability coaches as well as have the ability to conceptually follow through with their entrepreneurial interests or entrepreneurial dreams, to be able to try to conceptually add value to the world, one step at a time, one layer at a time, one interested party at a time, as we can try to conceptually add value to the world, to the global spectrum of life, and try to develop media to be able to try to connect with the mindset of activating the conceptual mindsets of the most entrepreneurship mindsets and the most philanthropic mindsets possible, by trying to lead somehow by example of developing prop firm eggs and purchasing a prop firm egg, so that the monetary energy from the first purchase more or less goes and lays within the first egg, more or less, so it's 100% risk on for initial purchase. And then beyond that, we have to track our risk on and risk off tolerance, and hope based on the materialization process. Hold on. And based on the materialization process, that there's based on the initial purchase of monetary energy being transitioned into the egg, that's like a digital to analog, but more or less like transition of an energy transfer, more or less. And so that energy of the monetary energy transfers into the initial egg, and then hopefully it's 100% risk on first trade. And then after that, because we have the conceptual potential that hopefully chickens can lay many eggs, so that hopefully it's we have the ability to tune the risk down, and the risk off goes off very soon after our initial egg purchases and things of this nature, so that we can change our monetary structure and our risk off policy down and bring it way down, hopefully, so that the farms can continue to build themselves, and hopefully more chickens and eggs can somehow overlap on top of each other in terms of energy structure and such things, with weird, more witchcraftery visual concepts and such things such as this going forward somehow, and hoping that there's any sort of truth to any of these things that I'm mentioning, more or less, in terms of the prop farm egg purchases that we're trying to facilitate within the upcoming weeks or days or whatever it is, to be able to see if it can try to come to fruition in some weird witchcraftery way, because it's just that kind of a life. It's just kind of that kind of a world. And so we're trying to implement some of the items that which we have spoken about in terms of like something we talked about is in terms of negative risk tolerance. Negative risk tolerance is like something that can hopefully help rip a hole in the side of the fabric of life and the universe and the planet as we know it, in essence, so that we can try to be a vessel, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios as a vessel for the rest of the world to be able to try to pipeline monetary energy through us as a vessel, and use that witchcraftery sort of visual mindset, whatever it is, to be able to transition the most energy possible into the global philanthropy energy grid. The global philanthropy energy grid, to try to make the most philanthropy energy possible for the world and all 8 billion people as best as possible, on a most consistent, ongoing, perpetual basis as possible going forward as well. Yeah. So hopefully with this mindset of conceptual overflow into the development process, as mentioned in this episode, in this podcast, I suppose, that hopefully we can try to facilitate the process and go forward and going forward with the things mentioned before now. All right, bye. Thanks again, Dinky Tech. Bye. Peace. Bye.